Right. One whole month. Finally. It's been 1 month. And it's been a great week by the title. So, we're back up. Positive. Almost close to beating the market. We're getting there. But there's gonna be. Well, I'll talk about it later, you'll see. Let's do this. Alright, so total performance. So we ended off last week at the. So it was 10-10, right? Or 10, no, 10-11. And Monday, I said last week on Monday, if it didn't really go the way I was expecting, then switch up the whole portfolio idea. And so basically, I closed my positions on Monday at the end, so that led to a further loss here. So at this point here, I'm thinking, okay, uh, I have to in a way restructure kind of the portfolio. So then I added more risk to the leverage side, and that was here. And literally on that same day, ASML earnings get leaked. Mark SOXL crashes 16% or something like that. I think it hit 18 at one point. And so really, if I hadn't changed anything with the portfolio, we would have seen a similar jump. I just cashed out a lot sooner because I had more leverage there. And so when I had that, which I was at zero, I'm like, okay, now I can start. Um, I can start with the idea in that I do 80% always in, because the issue I had it here in this big fall was I had 80% in a non-leveraged sort instead of just having it in cash. If we would have had it in cash, this would have been minimized by like a fourth, right? So that was a mistake there. So we're not going to do that again. So it's really only cash or market. And then I just thought about it right now. It's better just to go 80% market because, you know, the point of this is just to beat the market by like a little, like have a good edge on it, but not really be too risky. And so really 80% in market is fine, and most of the time it'll go up. So I mean, I think on Monday, this Monday, I'll buy 80%, and then the other 20% I'm thinking is gonna be for leverage. So that 20% is gonna be leverage instead of doing a 10%, which I can't even really do because I don't know why Charles Schwab doesn't let me buy fractional shares. Um, I'll just do 20% leverage, and I'll just give her give us a bigger edge. Um, and also that 20% leverage is what made me go up here in the beginning. I was opening in the morning, closing in the afternoon. Um, and that led me really not to have the overnight positions. And so what I'm going to do here is have the overnight positions with the market, with 80% market, right? But that 20% is going to automatically be closed by the close day. By the market and market close. So that's my idea. You can see we're back on track, doing good. So yeah, let's keep on going. So here's with the total compound. So here, this loss, right? To recover from this loss, you need a bigger gain than the loss. So that one day was a huge surprise for me. And then we were just neutral basically, and then we went up a bit on Friday. So comparison from last week. Last week was not great. It was pretty bad, right? We ended around -2 around here, and this week we ended at 3%. So positive gain of 3%. Recovered all last week plus 1%. Great. Comparison to Nasdaq. So here we go. We're back on track. You got this little. You can see here it's kind of just this gain, and then we're pretty much back. If Nasdaq falls on Monday or whatever, then I guess we would also fall. Now I'm thinking of buying it, depending how it opens. If it opens negative around there, then I'll probably wait to buy the 80%, because that's gonna be held for a long time. So by Monday for sure I'll go through. I'll decide when to buy it on Monday. And then that 20% edge should give us this boost, and then we can later go even further up, hopefully. You can see we're pretty much back 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So 2.99% after fees. Here Nasdaq only did 2.3. So Nasdaq actually underperformed SPY and Dow this week. We outperformed 60% of days for Nasdaq. overall is 45, so better than I think it was 40% last time, so it increased by 5% on the total. SPY it just keeps on going up. It's not as variable as NASDAQ, but it keeps on going up. So this one has a greater I guess a greater difference, but I mean similar case. Well, I think we just 1 to 2 more weeks and we should probably be above it. Here we have, so SPY did it again. The SPY keeps on getting new highs, right? So 0.85%, so not almost 4 times more compared to NASDAQ, and only 2 out of 5 days. 45, so this one decreased a bit from last time. Comparison to Dow Jones, it's all right. Dow Jones also did quite good this week, but we still have NASDAQ has the lowest difference here. These Dow Jones and SPY, I think SPY has the greatest. So right now, just the important thing is we're back on track, and I think we'll be able to surpass this at some point. 2.99, so Dow almost hit a 1% basically, and only 2 out of 5, so even more than S&P, quite rare, and 50% of days here, which decreased a bit. So comparison to all, this is the daily change, right? So here we started the week quite bad, and then 15 gave us a good time, and on Tuesday, great day, and then afterwards pretty much is neutral. Really thinking on what to do. I was also not really, I was just like, okay, what should I do? Should I add more leverage here? Should I not? So I was just debating that. And here on the last day, we just gained a bit. And so here's this week, so negative 1.5 on Monday, quite bad. And then we gained a 3.47, which is a bunch from that. It was part of that negative 16% decline. Then basically neutral, I mean 0.03 and negative 0.05 neutral. And then 1% gain on the 18th, which is quite good. So here's the comparison to also here, red is us, so the first day Monday, and then market's pretty good. Yellow is QQQ, green is SPY, and blue is Dow. So here, this is the day we gained a bunch and most of the semis fell. And then here we are neutral, basically we were more technical here. You can see we didn't really catch that Dow gained quite a lot. But the problem with this is it didn't move during the market day, and that it moved actually in pre-market and in futures. So basically, the only way to get those gains is if you're holding overnight. And that's what I'm hoping to do with the 80%, right? So holding overnight. But like, you know, like the day I think was probably close to neutral, maybe even went up a bit, but it wasn't like a whole 1% during the day, which would be a lot more. Here, basically just almost the same, everything neutral, nothing significant. And then here, gained the most. This day was quite weird because semis were going mostly down and QQ was going up a bit, down. Friday was a weird day, just up and down, nothing special about that. Green, so 12 green, 8 red. Now, really the consideration is how much are you losing on a red day, how much you're winning on a green day. So that'll come later, I think, or right now. Okay, so here we increased our gain by almost double from last week, so that's good. And then the loss decreased a bit by 0.02. So really, I mean, even if we have it right now, it's good. I mean, I would want to preferably get it. I think the gain would be good around, really, I mean, mean day, so like 0.17 gain, and the loss would, anything above 0.17 is great, but then our loss would have to be close to 0. So just take into like that ratio into account. So now it's too much on the loss. I'm hoping on loss day, like if we lose, then you know hopefully it goes down more. But mostly the problem here is that like on a green day I might be 0.0 or 0.08, and then that skews this to the bottom, or to the left, and then the loss, maybe there's one bad day and then the rest are like more. The problem with the means here is that the distribution of this is not normal, so it's not the great way to analyze it, but it's okay. So also, I added the comments from the other videos. The mean trades is actually, the correct term is transactions. A trade a day trade, let's say, that's considered when you buy and sell on the same day, and that would be one. So I was over counting those, and I actually meant transactions. So our mean transaction went up this week 2.9, and I'm really thinking with the 20% closing it out each day, we're looking at around 2. So we want to average towards 2. That would be better. Yeah, and then our mean trades are 1. So yeah, that's what I'm also going to. Our goal is to go towards 1. We're basically at 1 right now, so that's fine. But because we're going to be opening and then closing on the same day. Yeah. So yeah, here's the trade history. Really, when I had the most trades, we were doing quite good. So I don't think the trade, and we're doing have the least trades, it was the worst time. And it's not because one might say, oh, okay, but maybe here you're just going on the trend, and then here you just incorrectly did that. Well, here actually I was trading basically the same stuff in this area and in this area. So really, the holding period did not go well. So. And statistically that this is what should have happened really. So basically I think we're gonna hopefully keep this at transactions at around 2. I think at 2 transactions would be good, so 1 trade. Yeah, and just keep it around there. 6 is way too high because that would be 3 trades, and we don't want to close out all of our positions or everything. So yeah, so week cents 14 cents. It's a bit higher than last other weeks because it was the leverage have more fees. So if you increase your positions on them, and then when you sell, the fees go up, but it's still not that much. So after fees, we're at 1.035. That's great. 1% up. 1% overall. So really, next week we'll see how it goes. But our goal right now is just to get to where the market is. So that's basically my week goal, get to where it is. And then from there, just keep on going. And then when we're where the market is, then we can start having our edge. And that's the important part. But recovering from the negative like 3-something% to 1% is great. So yeah, I hope to seeing what happens in the future. And now it's gonna be 80% like holding market, and the other 20% is gonna be the edge. So I think 20% is a good edge for that. Yeah, I think it should be good. I think we should do good, and we're finally positive. That's what I wanted to see, and we're 1% up. So the market, I think right now is around a 1.8. I think around there. Right now I can actually. Okay, welcome back. So they're around right now. They're overall around the 2.4, so 1.4% more right now. Now that obviously can keep on going up, right? Or it can keep on going down, and then it decreases a bit. But that edge, the 1.4% difference. Right now if I'm calculating, probably on there it'll be around that times, if it's 20% weighted, would be this. So 0, and then would be 1. Right, so around, I think in 2 weeks, it really depends on how the market moves. If it goes down by 1%, right, then it's only a 0.4 difference, and we would also go down by 1, not 1%, but it'd be 0.8%. And then if you have the 20% edge there, and let's say, the 20% edge, and you, let's say on the 20% edge, you gain a 1%, right? So that'd be a 0.2 overall, and then you would have earned 1%, or you would have lost negative 0.6, while the market had lost 1. So that's already a 0.4% difference. So imagine on a greater scale what that could be. So really, I think either in 1 or 2 weeks, that gap should be closed. I think by the second week, we'll be outperforming. Considering we're going basically back to the strategy that I used to use for the first project and the second project. Right now, I was trying to make it more long-term focused, but that doesn't seem to be working too well. So my idea right now is just to do what I can do, what I know works. And so we should start cooking right now. Yeah. All right. See you next week. Bye.